You know that feeling when it is 2 in the morning and you cannot sleep, not because of Netflix or too much coffee, but because your brain will not stop running the numbers. Rent is due Friday, your car made that noise again, and you have got exactly $340 sitting in your account until next payday. That specific kind of 2am anxiety is something millions of Americans know intimately, and most of them have no idea that one specific savings milestone could dramatically reduce that feeling for good. And once you cross it, many areas of your life start feeling genuinely different in ways most people never expected. That number is $10,000. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly why. Hey, welcome to Cash Nova, and I am really glad you are here. This channel exists for one simple reason: to break down the real mechanics of money in a way that actually makes sense for regular people. No jargon, no get-rich-quick nonsense, just honest math and real psychology behind why some people build wealth quietly while others work just as hard and stay stuck. Most people know they should have an emergency fund, but almost nobody understands the psychological shift that happens when you finally build one. And that shift is exactly what this video is really about. Because once you understand why one specific savings number changes everything, you will never think about money the same way again. If that sounds useful, hit subscribe, because every week on Cash Nova, we break down the habits, systems, and psychology that help ordinary people build stronger financial lives. Everything in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial professional before making any financial decisions. Let me paint you a picture of what financial life looks like for most Americans right now. You wake up on Monday morning, check your phone, and see a notification from your bank saying your balance is lower than you thought. Before you have even had your first coffee, your brain has already kicked into full calculation mode. Can you afford groceries this week and fill up your gas tank? Should you pay the minimum on your credit card or try to squeeze in a little extra? And if something unexpected happens this month, what do you actually do? This is what financial experts call living in survival mode. And here is the brutal truth that nobody really talks about. Survival mode is exhausting not just financially, but mentally. Generic cereal or name brand, is that $4 coffee actually worth it? Can you afford your friend's birthday dinner? Or do you quietly make an excuse? These are the kinds of decisions that consume your mental energy every single day. When you are stuck in survival mode, your brain genuinely cannot think about growth. It is like trying to plan a vacation while your house is on fire. Immediate threats completely consume your mental energy, and there is simply nothing left over for building anything better, and that is exactly the trap most Americans are stuck in right now. When most people imagine saving $10,000, their mind immediately jumps to what they could buy with it: a vacation, a new laptop, maybe even a down payment on something they have wanted for years. But that completely misses the point, because the real power of $10,000 has almost nothing to do with spending it, and everything to do with knowing it is there when you need it. Research has consistently linked financial security with lower stress levels and reduced cortisol production, your body's primary stress hormone. In other words, reaching $10,000 in savings does not just change your bank account. It can literally change the way your body responds to everyday challenges. You sleep differently, think differently, and carry yourself differently, because a constant source of financial pressure has finally begun to disappear. Think about the last time your check engine light came on. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, that little orange light might as well be a countdown timer to financial disaster. Your brain immediately starts racing. How am I going to pay for this? Use a credit card, borrow money from someone, skip a bill this month and hope for the best. But when you have $10,000 in savings, that same check engine light becomes something completely different. It is still annoying, but it is no longer terrifying. You are not panicking, you are not frantically doing mental math, and you are not wondering how you are going to survive the month. You are simply dealing with a problem. And that shift from panic to mild annoyance creates ripple effects throughout your entire life. Because financial stress does not just affect your bank account, it affects your relationships, your confidence, your sleep, your decision-making, and ultimately the quality of your everyday life. Financial stress is not just a money problem. It is a life problem. Now let me tell you about two people in the same situation. They have the same job, the same salary, and they are living through the same month. Then, on the same Tuesday, both of them get hit with a $2,500 car repair bill. Person A has zero savings. The moment they see that repair estimate, their stomach drops. Their mind immediately starts racing. They are on the phone with their credit card company, considering borrowing money from family, and have been stressing for weeks because that one repair has completely derailed their financial month. Person B has $10,000 saved. They get the same estimate, pause for maybe 3 seconds, and say, "Fine, fix it." Same problem, same cost. Completely different experience. And that difference is the entire power of having a financial foundation. So why $10,000 specifically? Because there is actual mathematics behind why this amount creates such a dramatic shift in your daily life. Think about the most common financial emergencies that derail people. Car repairs typically cost between $500 and $3,000. Most urgent care visits and minor medical procedures cost under $5,000. And if you lose your job, $10,000 in savings can provide roughly 3 to 6 months of breathing room, depending on your expenses. What that means in plain English is simple. With $10,000 saved, most common financial emergencies become manageable instead of catastrophic. Not all emergencies, not the truly massive ones, but the everyday financial disasters that keep so many people trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Handled. And when it comes to actually building this foundation, most people who honestly track their spending discover they have far more flexibility than they realized. Americans spend thousands of dollars every year on food away from home and on convenience purchases. And consistently redirecting even a portion of that spending can make a remarkable difference. The income stays the same. The lifestyle stays largely the same. The decisions become more intentional. And suddenly, saving $400 or even $500 per month starts to feel much more realistic. Now here is the part most finance channels completely skip over, and I genuinely think it is the most important point in this entire video. When you save your first $10,000, the money itself is almost secondary. Because what you have actually done is prove something fundamental to yourself. Think about what it genuinely takes to get here from zero. You have to track where every dollar is going. You have to say no repeatedly to things you want in the moment. And you have to stay consistent for months, sometimes even years. And what that really means is that you have become the type of person who controls their money instead of the type of person whose money controls them. That identity shift matters because it does not just affect your savings account, it affects every financial decision you make going forward. Before you had $10,000 saved, buying a $4 coffee might have triggered a small guilt spiral. After crossing this milestone, you stop sweating the small stuff because you have already proven that you can make the big sacrifices when they actually matter. And something else changes too. You stop seeing only threats and start seeing opportunities. When finances are tight, every unexpected expense feels like a disaster. Car needs repairs, disaster, laptop dies, disaster, rent goes up, disaster. But when you have $10,000 as your foundation, those same events start to look very different. At worst, they are manageable inconveniences. And sometimes they become opportunities to upgrade, improve, or make a smarter move. Same events. Completely different experience, because your financial foundation changed. Let us talk about something most personal finance videos never connect to savings: your career. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, you are essentially trapped in whatever job you currently have. Your boss could be terrible, your co-workers toxic, and the work completely soul-draining. But you cannot leave because you need that next paycheck to survive, and that puts you in the weakest possible negotiating position. You cannot comfortably ask for a raise, you cannot push back on unreasonable demands, and you cannot seriously explore other opportunities because every one of those moves feels too risky when you have nothing saved. But $10,000 starts to change that entire dynamic, because suddenly you have what I call walking away money. You could leave tomorrow and survive for months while finding something better. And here is what is really interesting. Most of the time, you never even need to use it. Just knowing it is there changes how you show up at work. You become more confident, more willing to speak up, more willing to take on challenging projects, and people notice. Better assignments, more recognition, and over time, more money, all because of a quiet superpower that works simply by existing. Now I need to warn you about a pattern I see all the time. People finally reach $10,000. They feel that shift, that new confidence, that breathing room, and then they spend it. Maybe they decide they deserve a vacation after being so disciplined. Maybe they upgrade their car because they have earned it. Or maybe they lend the money to someone who absolutely promises they will pay it back. Please do not make that mistake. Because $10,000 is not a reward for good behavior, it is the foundation of everything that comes next. Historically, broad market investments have delivered meaningful growth over long periods, although future returns are never guaranteed. And that means the compounding potential of this money over decades can be genuinely significant. $10,000 is not just $10,000. It is the seed of something much bigger, something that could meaningfully change your financial future. Protect it. Look, $10,000 is not going to make you wealthy overnight, and you will still have difficult financial months because life will always throw unexpected challenges your way. But here is what genuinely changes. You stop reacting purely to life and start gaining real control over it. The 2am anxiety sessions get quieter, small financial emergencies stop feeling catastrophic, and opportunities you could not see before start appearing where they never seemed to exist before. And maybe most importantly, you prove something to yourself, possibly for the first time. You are the type of person who builds wealth, not someday, not when you make more money. Right now, with what you have. So start today, even if it is only $50 this month, even if the progress feels painfully slow. Because the person you become while building toward that $10,000 is honestly worth more than the money itself. Everything in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and should not be considered financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial professional before making financial decisions. If this video helped you see money a little differently, consider subscribing to Cash Nova. Every week, we break down the real mechanics of money in a way that actually makes sense for real people. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.